unification of Tibet, dismantling a nation's irreplaceable spirituality and mysticism and unique culture with a strict communist rule governed by bureaucrats. Sadly, the Tibetan plight is one of mass oppression and the political questioning of not only global human rights, but of the silence of governments around the world that watch these atrocities take place. They've lost their homeland. I can't even begin to imagine what this does to one's sense of self and place in the world. Being away, I realise the simplest of all truths, that it is through humanitarian service and love for other human beings that I will grow and find meaning in my life. I invite you to become a part of this unique and worthy charity, either here in Australia or in Nepal, in whatever way you like. For those thinking of going to Nepal, I encourage you to take the trip for yourself, to discover that part of yourself that yearns to see mysterious lands, meet courageous and compassionate people, and give back to the world in a practical and profound way. It was a challenge, the trip that we went on, but as Paulo Coelho wrote, sometimes we have to accept such challenges simply because they nourish our existence. The moment we begin to seek humanity and to work with those who need our help, humanity begins to seek us and to save us.
Dental decay is one of the most widespread diseases on the planet. It is well known that the incidence of dental decay is directly related to the economic poverty of the population. Nepal is one of the poorest countries on earth. This fate is shared by the Tibetans in exile. It is also well known that as dental decay increases, so too does the rate of many other degenerative diseases, including cancer. Our aim is to help improve dental health and thus the general health of the population. We are treating people who are so poor that they do not have 10 cents to catch a bus, let alone have a visit to the dentist. Thus, our dental teams go to them.
Tashi Palkhiel Australia has been set up as a non-profit charitable organisation with its primary aim to preserve the Tibetan culture in exile. The organisation was born in 2001 and set up by Chris Katsanis, Dr. Robert Gamble and Dr. Terry Wong. To date, 3 dental teams over the past 4 years have attended to the people of the Pokhara Valley. Many more trips are planned. Associated with the dental services is a continuing educational project which began 9 years earlier through the sole efforts of Chris Katsanis. The mystical city of Kathmandu is our gateway to Nepal. It is also the home of ADRA, a government-registered agency, providing our Nepalese support team led by Dr. Bishnu Shrestha. ADRA organised transport of equipment, services of experienced dentists, and the much-needed translation. A 40-minute flight over the Himalayas takes us to the picturesque town of Pokhara. The lake and surrounding mountains form the inspiration for Tolkien's brilliant writings. In Pokhara, we stay at the Mandala Hotel. It is beside the lake and in the centre of many bustling restaurants and shops. Naren Pahari, the owner of the Mandala Hotel, provides us with all of the home comforts, and this has become a base for our operations. From here, we establish dental camps at a variety of settlements. Around the Pokhara Valley are 4 Tibetan refugee settlement camps with a population totalling about 4,000 people. In a time when everything in this world is dominated by fear and uncertainty, Tashi Palkhiel Australia has taken the first steps of organising logistical support and a great working relationship with both the Nepali and Tibetan officials in the Pokhara Valley. We have been granted permission and support by both the Nepali government and the Tibetan government in exile in Dharamsala. Tashi Palkhiel Australia is the first international aid agency to have serviced all 4 refugee settlement camps and their Nepali neighbours in the history of Tibetans in exile. The services provided so far have been supported by the efforts and goodwill of ADRA Nepal and various Australian organisations and individuals. Our dental services are provided equally to Nepali and Tibetan people, completely free of charge. One trip alone saw 968 procedures being performed on over 710 people within 12 days. To date, over 2,000 people have received dental treatment. All volunteers come to work with us completely at their own expense. Airfares, hotels and food are all paid out of their own pockets. To date, these groups have been comprised of educators, IT experts, administrative experts, nurses, dental nurses and dentists. 90% of all monies received as donations to Tashi Palkhiel Australia goes directly into running our overseas projects.
Many of the dental materials are provided as generous donations from several dental supply companies in Australia. These donations have all been gratefully used in our trips.
There is a great sense of achievement when we step out of our comfort zone and set up successful field trips into some of the most magnificent and remote country on earth. Very few tourists get the opportunity to be welcomed into the homes of so many grateful people. These trips have afforded the dental personnel the opportunity to witness a vast and diverse range of dental diseases, rarely seen in the typical suburban dental practice. Everyone has been touched by the scale of work that can be done with such limited resources. The gratitude of the people has been expressed by all Nepali and Tibetan officials in the Pokhara area. This includes the Dalai Lama's personally appointed Member of Parliament in exile, Mr. Wangyal Lama. Our efforts have also created a uniting bond between the Nepali and Tibetan communities. Everyone has been touched by the magic.
Our work started at a particular camp called Tashi Palkhiel in Hyanja and has been extended to 3 other Tibetan settlements, Paljuling, Jampaling and Tashiling. At Tashi Palkhiel in 2003, 450 people were treated with 460 procedures being performed. Paljuling in 2005 saw 611 people being treated with over 760 procedures. Jampaling and Tashiling in 2006 saw 770 people being treated with 968 procedures being performed.
On every dental trip, there has been an associated welfare project for the Tibetans in exile to provide support in the area of education. Generous donations have allowed us to bring much needed help to these communities. These efforts ride on the back of 9 years' previous hard work by Chris Katsanis, who has consistently brought help to these people. Some of the services